One breach might be that clients aren't aware of is that they've purchased a property and then they let a related party like an auntie or an uncle or one of the kids let them move into the home. So that is a breach. You can have up to 5% invested in related party investments, but anything outside of that would be considered a breach. Depending on the severity of the breach, it will depend on what the ATO will require and what the penalty is. In severe circumstances, they might lose half the value of their fund, or they might be taxed at a higher tax rate. Welcome to SMSF Insider, where we help busy professionals to gain financial independence using an SMSF. Hi, I'm Troy, founder of Blue Chip SMSF Services, and over the last 20 years, I've helped thousands of Aussies manage the complexities of self-managed super funds. And in this podcast, I'll answer your questions, break down the myths, so you can take charge of your financial freedom. Let's get into it. Just a quick disclaimer and just a reminder that this is not personal advice, so make sure you speak with a licensed advisor before making any investment decision. Hi, welcome to SMSF Insider, where today we'll be talking about self-managed super funds and some laws that you can breach with your SMSF, and also what to do about that. So the first one is loans to members or relatives using your SMSF money. So that's a common breach of the in-house asset rule. Another one is early access of super, so withdrawing money from super funds. So it's an account that's meant for retirement purposes, and so you can't go in there and use that money for personal use. So that is a breach, and with those funds, any funds are withdrawn illegally, that you'll need to put that money back. Reach out to the ATO or your SMSF advisor or whoever's looking after your SMSF, your administrator, let them know what's happened, and then work with the ATO on how to rectify the issue. Running away from the issue is probably the worst thing you can do. So the best thing to do is just reach out to your SMSF administrator or the ATO, and they'll help you and guide you through around how to fix it. Another example, using funds to pay personal bills, as I mentioned, like a car or holiday, it's obviously a big no-no. In-house asset limits, so if you've more than 5% of your SMSF total assets are invested in related parties, is a breach. So you can have up to 5% invested in related party investments, but anything outside of that will be considered a breach. So an example might be taking money out more than 5% and investing it into a family company or a family trust, or a company or trust that you have control over. So that would be in breach of the 5% in-house asset rule. Not following the sole purpose test is another main one. Using the funds for personal use, benefiting yourself now as opposed to later in retirement. That also is breach. And buying a holiday home and artwork and letting the family use it can also be considered a breach. One breach might be that clients aren't aware of is that they've purchased a property and then they let a related party like an auntie or an uncle or mum or dad or brother or sister or one of the kids let them move into the home. So that is a breach, and clients may do this unintentionally, but that is a no-no. You can't lease the property out to a related party, so just be mindful of that one. It can sometimes be an innocent mistake, but certainly one to be mindful of. Just quickly, guys, if you're a busy professional, fed up with traditional super funds and overwhelmed by the setup of your SMSF, we can help. Book in a call with my team using the link in the show notes, and let's build your future on your terms. Now, back to the episode. What will happen? So what will happen is the ATO will suggest an informal arrangement to fix the breach. They might accept an enforceable undertaking for you to fix the breach, or the ATO might suggest for you to do some trustee education or having some more understanding and knowledge around having an SMSF as well moving forward. The ATO has a formal rectification process. So to fix the breach, so it's important that you follow those guidelines and get it fixed sooner rather than later. Depending on the severity of the breach, it will depend on what the ATO will require and what the penalty is. In severe circumstances, they might lose half the value of their fund, or they might be taxed at a 50%, 47%, or they might receive a higher tax rate. So certainly that's more on the severe side, but certainly if it's on an honest mistake, certainly you can typically work around it with the ATO as long as you get onto it sooner rather than later. The trustee can actually be personally fined for the breach, depending on how big the breach is, and in rare cases the trustee can be disqualified from being an SMSF trustee. Another thing that can happen is the fund can lose, or can become non-complying and lose up to half of the assets. So how do you avoid this? The easiest way is choose the right SMSF provider to start with, and obviously just be honest with the ATO, and they'll be able to work with you around how to get those breaches fixed. All of our staff go through a training process before they're on board, and they go through an internship program where they're learning about self-managed super funds, so that after their internship program is finished, they have a very good understanding around self-managed super funds. So it is important when you are setting up an SMSF that you're doing it with a provider that can understand the do's and don'ts, and make sure you understand what you shouldn't do to avoid your fund being non-compliant. If there is a topic that you would like us to talk about, please drop some comments in the comment section below. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and look forward to catching you on the next episode of SMSF Insider. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of SMSF Insider. If you got value from this, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the strategies we share to help you take control of your financial future. Find us on socials at Blue Chip SMSF, or book a call with our team to see if we can help you.